Good afternoon, my movie loving brothers and sisters. How you guys doing on this? It's Friday. It's Friday and it feels good. The weather turned on us from beautiful, amazing paradise to absolute terrible, cold, rainy winter. It's awful. But yet it is Friday, so that's exciting. Lots of stuff to talk about today. I am joined today by my friend and co-host, Shane Wallace. Shane, how you doing on this morning, buddy?
Hey, doing great. I can't believe it's Friday.
Yeah,
With
right.
Halloween on Monday, this week just flew by. It still feels like Wednesday or Thursday. I can't believe the weekend starts tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. But guys, don't forget, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can have your movie news when you need it, where you need it. How we like to do things around here, we like to kick things off with a few main topics, and then when we finish the main topics, we like to get into your guys' comments or questions that you leave down in the comment section below. So make sure that you're leaving comments and questions down in there, and make sure you're sticking around to the end of the show so you can see all those get answered. With that being said, before we go into the main topics today, we just want to do a quick off the top. Shane, I wanted to talk about how this what was it, Masters of the Monsters, was that what it's called? Or let me see what it's called here.
Masters of Monsters? I think
Yes,
that's what it was.
yes, Masters of Monsters movie marathon that is being hosted by John Carpenter. I came across this on Twitter. Perfect. I came across this on Twitter, and I thought, well, this is really interesting. This seems like something that I would definitely be interested in and want to check out, especially it being hosted by John Carpenter, right? That's pretty interesting. And this, from when I was younger, this is totally something that I would have went and checked out and really loved and enjoyed. Now I don't know if I want to spend $4.99 on this new app to do it, but I just want to let you guys know that it's out there, it's happening, and it's pretty cool. And it started yesterday on Godzilla Day, right, Shane, you said? So
yeah, so they're doing, what is it, 5 days?
Yeah, it looks like it. So yeah, this will be going, it'll be like a big 5-day weekend type of thing, but it looked like it started with the original 1954 Godzilla, right? That's pretty cool. I wanted to put that out there so you guys know that information's out there. And our boy John Carpenter, as much as he may hate the Halloween movies that are coming out as much as we do, he has found something else to do. So go check it out. With that being said, we're going to move on to our first main topic today, guys. Our first main topic today is this. Me and Shane had a chance to check out this new trailer for the series coming out called Tulsa King, starring our boy Sly himself, who is now, aging like fine wine. I was just telling Shane, as he gets older, I've really been enjoying more of this, this latter stages of his career, and I like this old kind of stoic Stallone. I kind of feel like it matches better now that he's older. It kind of reminds me like a old man Logan vibe, of this classic hero that we all knew and loved, right? But now he's kind of old, but you don't want to fuck with him though, right? He's still Sylvester Stallone. He's Rocky. You don't want to mess with Rocky. I don't care what age he is. So I thought it'd be interesting to check this out, the trailer, and I checked it out just a little bit ago. Haven't had much time to talk about it with Shane, but I'll give you my quick thoughts on it. My quick thoughts on it were, this kind of looks fun in a way. It reminded me a lot of like kind of Breaking Bad-ish, mixed with a couple other things in that vein of crime drama. It is on, what was it on again? I can't remember now. It was on one of the streaming apps, Amazon, I believe.
Paramount Plus,
that's right. Which Shane's going to be happy if I do get to watch, because then I'll finally watch Winning Time maybe. The Offer.
Winning Time's on HBO Max.
I mean, The Offer. Sorry, yes. The Offer. You still want me to watch that one too, though. So
bad. It was my second favorite show of the year.
So I have to get around to doing that. But yeah, that being said, yeah, this looks like something that I may check out. I'm not super excited about it. This is something to rush out to see or anything. But this is something that looks interesting and looks fun. So if you guys haven't checked out the trailer to this new Tulsa King thing, also, Tulsa's kind of not far from home for us. So that's why it also kind of piqued my interest too. Just, I recently bought a Corvette that I bought from Tulsa.
There you go.
I was there.
Connection.
I was close to the Tulsa King.
Do we know if they're filming Tulsa King in Tulsa?
I don't know, but I mean, you would like to think that they would be filming some of it, right? In Tulsa, it would only make sense.
Yeah, because I saw, Martin Starr is part of it as well. And, as Apatow fans, we love Martin Starr. That'd be cool if he's just a couple hours away.
Yeah, right. No doubt. No doubt. We'll have to go down there and mob on him. Get him to be on the show. But yeah, so yeah, this looks interesting. I'll probably check out, give this a go, an episode or so at some point. If it comes out and I hear that it's really good and it becomes a thing, maybe I jump on it a lot sooner. But yeah, I'll probably give it a little bit of time, see what the reception is on it before I give it a go. But Shane, you had a chance to check out this trailer before you got here to the studio today. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you're thinking about this.
Just talking about the show Tulsa King, it seems pretty cool. It looks like something I would watch. Like you said, mob influence, which, I do like those types of serials. It looks gritty, realistic. It looks pretty cool. My only concern, and I'm a big Stallone fan. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so there's only two guys. It was Stallone and Schwarzenegger,
right?
Absolutely. And I don't know if either of those two guys could handle a series, a multi-episode series, because no matter how much I love Stallone, and hopefully he proves me wrong, because I'll give it a shot, because I just about watch anything he's in. Why not?
Right.
And but he's very one note.
Yeah.
And you got that from the trailer. Just everything always has to be.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, that car's getting away, or it's my birthday today.
When it works, when you got the right stuff.
And you're right. If it's the character's right, but I think it only works in a 2-hour movie. I don't know if I'm going to want to sit down for 10 episodes and for 10 hours just get, hey, this is Stallone, and I got to stay at this one note, and so I don't mean to punk on him because again,
he's a legend.
He is a legend.
Yep.
And I do enjoy his movies. But again, hopefully he proves me wrong. 10 episodes is a lot for one, just that one base Stallone note. But
I was starting to feel that way after I watched Black Adam about The Rock a little bit. Is that as great as he is, and as much as I love him, and as great of an entertainer he is, he's still The Rock, like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He can't you can never watch a movie and be like, damn, I didn't even know that was The Rock, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like not only just physically, but like his acting can't like cross this certain vein that he's in. I feel that kind of way with Stallone too, that he is, like you said, one note. Well, The Rock kind of feels that way too in a way, even though again he's so talented, and so is Stallone, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been nominated for Academy Awards, so of course he's talented. But yeah, I agree 100%. He is very one note.
But it does seem like he picked the right character. He does a great job of picking projects that work for him.
Right.
So I guarantee you this will, be a really fun show. Again, we'll see if I can get past 3 episodes and be like, okay, I still want to tune in. But again, if something like some plot device, grabs my attention, I'll have to tune in.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. Or like I was saying, if we hear, that this is doing really well or something, and people are jumping all over.
98% on Rotten
right,
Tomatoes,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, then we'll be all about it, I bet I'm gonna predict it right now. It's gonna come in probably under 50%. What do you want to say, Shane? You want to give us a prediction?
Let's put on our Dr. Fate helmet. The fates say, I actually see a high 70s.
Okay,
on
high
this one.
70s. All right,
77%. I'll say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like high 40s. So we'll see. We'll see. It's only November 13th is release date. So guys, if you haven't had a chance to check out this trailer, definitely go down in the comment section below. Let us know if you have checked it out, what your thoughts are. Are you gonna check this out? Do you have Paramount Plus already? Would you get it just for this show? Definitely let us know down in the comment section below. Okay, with that being said, guys, we're going to move on to our second main topic today, which isn't much of a topic, but something that I wanted to talk about. Because Shane, last night, and I haven't even told you this, so let's get your face up on camera so the camera can see you when I tell you.
Okay.
For the first time in my existence of 30 years, I watched from beginning to end Pulp Fiction.
Really?
Yeah.
You watched Pulp Fiction?
I did.
What did you think? Oh my God.
I did. I want to say this, and I definitely want to cut this little spot that I'm going to do into its own video for my review of Pulp Fiction. And I'll start it with this. Here's my review of Pulp Fiction. So, Pulp Fiction, I cannot believe, Shane, that so many people love this movie.
It's so good. It is so good.
It is good if it was about an hour less than what it is. There is so much unnecessary things in this movie. There's so many good things about the movie. There's performances that are great. I mean, Samuel Jackson is amazing. It really stood out to me. I really forget how great of an actor that dude really is. But that's what really stood out to me. Also, a guy that's become kind of a joke, John Travolta, right?
Oh, yeah?
I think his last 10 or 15 films have all been 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like a record. And he's become kind of a joke, but man, God, he was good. He was really good. He was like the best that I've ever seen him. So again, lots of really great things about it. My biggest complaint was, first of all, way too much dialogue, way too much talking, way too much trying. What, you know how we often talk about, Shane, how, like I was saying with Black Adam, that it felt like we were checking boxes, right? This felt like he was doing that. Like, oh, we have to bring in race, and we have to bring in, But
you realize those boxes didn't exist when that movie came out.
But it felt so...
I mean...
Come on. I mean, it was on the head with a hammer so much that it was just like, okay, I get it. I get what you want. I get what you're going for. But at the same time, it felt very drawn out, and it was very disjointed, very disconnected.
Absolutely was.
I understand it's supposed to be that way. But again, it's just like I told you before, if you're a chef and you serve me up food and it tastes like shit, and I'm like, hey, it tastes like shit. And you're like, well, I made it to taste that way. Yeah, it still tastes like shit, and I don't like it. You could say my palate's not refined, cool, but it is what it is. This is what I taste. And the part that really, the one word I would say that I take away from this movie is just disappointed, because I seen so much potential for this movie to be good, but it just dragged on, and it felt like the movie wanted to talk to me more than it, or explain to me things than it wanted to actually do something. And I got to be honest, there was at least 2 to 3 moments where I almost shut it off. I was so close. Now, I will say this. What was cool about those moments is it was almost like it was meant to be that way, because right when I was just disinterested and there was too much talking, a topic or a subject or something would come up that I would be like, okay. For example, there's the scene where they're talking over dinner. The main drug dealer's wife that he took out to dinner, right? And they're talking at dinner. It's just, who gives a shit? You order a $5 shake. I've never seen a $5 shake, and all this shit that I could give no fucks about at all.
Let me ask you this: what's the movie about?
But then, hold on. But then, right when I literally was like, all right, I'm about to tune this. I'm about to pause this, and I'm gonna have to finish it another time. She comes back to the table and she was like, did you think of anything to talk about? Which is so ironic, right? Because that's how I felt as an audience member. Do you have something to give me besides just this nonsense between your characters that I don't really like enough to just want to see, or know enough to just want to see have dinner? And then he's like, hey, and then he brings up the girl or the guy that gave you the foot massage that got thrown out of the window. Is that true? Now I'm back. You got me back right now. I'm intrigued. Okay, what's this? What is? How did all that? Because that stuff in the beginning was what really hooked me in. The interactions between Samuel Jackson and John Travolta. Mm-hmm. The stuff about the foot massage. You can't give. I'll give my mama a motherfucking foot massage. It's like, listen, man, you can't give a lady a foot. Like, their opinions on it were great. Their little banter about it was great. And then that connected into this, and in that moment, it drew me back in, and I'm like, okay, I want to know more, because I liked that moment before. But yeah, for me, it was just disappointing and too disjointed. That beginning thing, I was shocked that was Tim Roth. I'm like, damn, how old is Tim Roth? Like 10? And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the main drug dealer, was that Ving Rhames?
Yeah, Ving Rhames.
Yeah, I mean, he looks crazy young. I mean, Samuel Jackson never looked so
super skinny,
right? Yeah, so
remember in Goodfellas?
I will say this, it was very interesting to see all of those. I mean, the list goes on and on in that movie too. There's tons of big names in there. I did think it was funny. I felt very M. Night Shyamalan when I seen that he decided to write himself into the script just so he could say the N-word a couple of times.
I think it's like 100 times just himself says it.
Yeah, and I felt that a lot too, you know. I've heard that a lot of criticisms about him lately, about how he, is always implementing that. Right. Yeah. And it felt like that for sure. It felt like, again, a lot of boxes he was trying to check to show what was going on, and parts of the world at the time, like you said, were probably not known about, the GIMP dude and stuff like that, or all kinds of stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's disappointing. I think you were wanting something that it wasn't. I think you were waiting for a plot to happen.
Yeah, sure. Of course. Yeah. It's a movie. I wanted a story. Tell me a story. That's what I'm here for.
I almost wish we weren't having this conversation, because I hate standing up for Tarantino. I'm a Tarantino hater, but that film is a top 100 greatest films of all time. It not only is it so well made, and contextually it's so important, but I mean, it's exactly what it's supposed to. It's an anti-movie. There's no plot. I mean, what's it about? What do you tell your friends it's about? Like you said, conversations. It's that realism that it's just, I love it. But again, I'm not going to stand here and stick up for the guy.
So that being said, after I finished it, I had the overwhelming thought of, do I like Quentin Tarantino movies? Do I even freaking like Quentin Tarantino movies?
Pulp Fiction changed you.
And I went through his filmography, and I'm going to be 1,000% honest. I am in the minority on these opinions. But guys, Quentin Tarantino is not that great of a director to me. He has not directed anything that stands out to me as like a top. You know what? Maybe top 100.
Oh,
maybe
for sure.
But definitely not a top 10, 20 films. Nothing he's ever made is that great, and nothing he's ever made did I love as a fan.
You still haven't seen Reservoir Dogs.
I have not.
And that's it is non-linear, which I love about it. Those two are the two films, and then I like Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown's okay.
Yeah.
But Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, those are the two that I would say made him as a great director, while I consider him a top 50 greatest directors of all time. Those two films, and nothing else.
Right. And I'm looking at, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I've seen. And honestly, out of everything I've seen, I've never seen Django yet either.
Django's pretty good.
Out of everything I have seen, I would probably say Hateful Eight was my favorite.
Ouch.
And even that, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's very dialogue heavy too. All his stuff is very dialogue heavy, and very, I don't know. I just wasn't the biggest fan. But yeah, what I want to talk about, moving on. That's, by the way,
second topic today.
That, guys, is my review on Pulp Fiction. But yeah,
I wonder how many followers we just lost.
So moving on, I have an article here from Variety. I'm sorry. Yes, coming to us from Variety, where Quentin Tarantino did an interview. And this is with everyone, it seems like, Shane. All these directors that are all high and mighty and above all of us, not great high and mighty filmmakers, have said in the past that they're not interested in doing something for Marvel or in the MCU. And in this particular case, he said, as you see in the headline here, Quentin Tarantino says Marvel directors are, quote, hired hands, so he won't join the MCU. Quote, I'm not looking for a job. This is a very interesting thing. I want to read the exact quote that he said here. You have to be hired hand to do those things, quote. Tarantino said of Marvel movies, I'm not a hired hand. I'm not looking for a job. The analogy works because it's similar to a chokehold about a superhero movies dominating the industry these days in the same way musicals did in the past. He goes on to say, of course, I like Star Wars. What's not to like? But remember that it's not a but in a negative way, but in a good way. The movie completely carried me along, and I was just rocking and rolling with these characters. Again, this is in reference to Star Wars. When the lights came on, I felt like $1 million, and I looked around and had this moment of recognition thinking, wow, what a time at the movies. He continues to say, now, that's not necessarily my favorite or exact type of film. At the end of the day, I'm more of a close encounters of the third kind of guy. Just the bigger idea and Spielberg setting out to make an epic for regular people, not just cinephiles. Few films had the kind of climax that Close Encounters had. It blew audiences away. Now, here's what I want to say. What interests me about this is a couple things. I say this, Shane, all the time. I hate to see another fellow filmmaker disrespecting or talking bad about other fellow filmmakers. At the end of the day, you are calling Ryan Coogler and you're calling James Gunn and you're calling the Russo brothers and you're calling them all hired hands, man.
Well, I like the analogy to musicals. If he would have said that about musicals, would you agree with that take then? If he didn't say superheroes, if he kept the analogy musicals, hey, musicals have a chokehold on the industry. I mean, would you agree with that?
No.
Okay.
Do musicals have a chokehold on the industry?
Well, let's say it's the 1960s and they did. I mean, he'd be dissing those directors too. We don't have a problem him dissing the directors of, Sound of Music. I mean, he's doing that in this interview, and we're not like, whoa, Sound of Music.
Well, this is Screen Talk Live. We're here talking about things on your screen. We're not talking about live musical performances. I could give a damn about a live musical performance.
No, he's talking about like movie musicals, like Oliver and Sound of Music.
Okay, yeah. I see
Mary
what we're
Poppins.
talking about. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Because there was a point in the 60s where that like every studio, that was their big budget film, was that we got to put out this musical and it's going to make or break us.
Sure, and I totally understand that. But here's my thing is that again, these are your fellow filmmakers, and at the end of the day, I think you keep your opinions to yourself on these kind of things, and I think as a guy who makes films in this industry and people go out and see his films for the most part, Tarantino should say, as I've always said, with what's the guy that made The Irishman?
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, Scorsese and all the other people that want to badmouth Marvel and their creators and all those things is what you should say is, I'm happy that people go out and see them.
But they're not happy. People go. That's the whole point.
But you should be happy that they go out and see it, because your movie wouldn't be able to exist if people didn't go out and see it.
That was Scorsese's whole point. He wasn't bashing Marvel. He was bashing audience members for supporting Marvel.
He was bashing me.
Exactly.
Well, fuck you, Martin Scorsese. Eat a dick, man. Because at the end of the day,
you didn't like Pulp Fiction.
What I like is what I like. It's art. It's subjective. I can't help what I like. And to tell me that I'm wrong for liking something, it just feels like you're ignorant to me.
The thing is, calling this stuff art is like saying that, man, you're dissing Looney Tunes. That's art, man. And it's like, yeah, a little bit, but when you're talking about Picasso,
listen, I don't view life that way. That's like viewing, like saying, well, I'm good and I'm successful. Yeah, but there's Elon Musk. So no, I don't compare myself to everyone else and everything else. Art is art is art. Art is art, whether it's an amusement park ride or whether it's me getting ready to go to the bathroom and take a shit. Nice. It's still art at the end of the day. And what I like when I see it and what you like when you see it is always not going to be the same. But for me to say, well, you should like it or you shouldn't like it is just wrong.
No one's saying you should or shouldn't.
But to say you're stupid or you're dumb for liking it, or I'm a sheep is the exact kind of quote.
You can agree that if you went to college for a fine arts scholarship to get your degree in fine arts, there's certain art that's probably not going to be taught. That's kind of lowbrow. You're probably going to teach
sure, Shane. But when he or you even went to learn those things. This didn't exist. This new era of movie going did not exist 20 years ago, Shane.
Sure.
So there
were still bad movies, though.
So it's so different. I mean, so what are the kids being taught today?
So,
it's probably way different, right? I bet there's a lot more of this being implemented, right? Because things have evolved.
That's where the jobs are.
The movie going experience has evolved. And something he said that I actually like that he said, Scorsese, was that I compare them more to amusement park rides. It's more of an event. And I say that all the time. It is. But guess what, Shane and Martin Scorsese or whoever else, that's what the movies have evolved into. That's what the theater experiences have turned into. The reason the movies continue to exist is because so many people go out every year to see those big,
I'm not arguing that,
epic
but
things. So, but as a creator,
I think you're taking a leap calling it art. I mean, to me, art must have intention. I mean, like you said, you could take a dump and call it art, but is it really art?
But
is anyone really going to get a message out of it? I mean, to me...
But again, that's not fair for you to say.
To me, art is whenever a creator is creating something to express something. What's Marvel expressing?
But all kinds of things. All kinds of things.
Projections.
That's not fair. And that I don't think it works that way. And if I view that I am getting those things from it, that I am getting a story, that I am getting... And you don't, that's okay. We can have these separate opinions.
And I also
they still
believe...
both be true.
Yeah, and I respect your opinion. I love arguing with you.
For sure.
I also believe art needs to be created by an artist. And I wouldn't consider any of the Marvel movies having a singular artist.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Heads, they have to be like, hey, this ties into this. This ties into this. You can't do that.
Art doesn't have to be created by an artist. My daughter isn't an artist, and she draws and paints all the time.
Sounds like she's an artist.
And no, but we all are artists, man. We're all artists. So to say that is
my analogy would be like, so you take your daughter down and you're like, okay, sit down and draw a car. And so she draws a car. No, I want it pink. Okay, so it's pink. Oh, but I want spinning wheels. So it's doing that. So she hands you that picture. Is that art now that she gave you? It sounds like it's hired work that I just told
Shane, you once told me that most of the best artwork ever done was commissioned. It was all hired work.
That's true, Michelangelo.
Right, you told me this, Shane.
Damn it.
So
yeah, but I would still put Picasso on a level higher than Michelangelo because it's personal. I completely
and totally understand that. But what I'm saying is that's how you feel, Shane. And if I say, hey, Jackson Pollock is the greatest artist ever made, or that ever made art, then so be it. It could be Bob Ross to me. It could be Satan to you. But the point is to tell me that my opinion, whether it be Bob Ross or Vincent Van Gogh or whoever, to tell me that my opinion is askew or a sheep-like opinion or anything negative is wrong. It's because, again, opinions are like assholes. We all have one. And we all have the right to feel how we feel. And I think if we're all being genuine, and I know we are because we're friends sitting across from each other. And if we're genuine, then I think that, it's easier to accept how someone feels. So if I say, hey, man, I didn't like Pulp Fiction, I'm not just saying that to be the dude that's like, hey, I don't like Pulp Fiction. I meant it. I want to enjoy everything I watch. I spent 2 hours and 40 minutes almost watching that goddamn movie.
It's so good.
So I really wanted to love it. I didn't hate Pulp Fiction, but it left me with the overall thoughts of, why do people love Quentin Tarantino so much?
And I asked that about Marvel movies. Why do people love Marvel movies so much?
I understand that. I get that 100%. I really do. But I would never say that people who love Pulp Fiction are sheeple or they're wrong.
And Tarantino doesn't say that. Scorsese definitely was attacking the public.
No, for sure.
But Tarantino wasn't.
No, he's not. But
how I feel about Tarantino is like if you're like, I don't know, Emmitt Smith, this famous 1990s running back, and going, hey, I'm the greatest. The running backs today suck. You when you're at that level, there's going to be some confidence and some pride that goes along with it. So for Tarantino tarnish.
I get
Abrams.
that to an extent, but this isn't a competition, man.
Yeah,
this is art. This is just putting stuff out in the world and seeing what happens.
To feel like you are a better artist, I can understand that.
But see, that in itself is arrogant and ignorant. There is no way to be a better artist. It's just like if I said my favorite movie was the Hey Arnold movie, and you said your favorite or the best movie. If I said the best movie ever made was the Hey Arnold movie, and you said no, it's The Godfather. We're both right.
Okay, here's the thing.
Neither one of us are wrong.
You are right in a very, shallow, my mom going to the movies, she's right, she likes what she's right. But if we are talking about film being an art form, not just entertainment, there's aesthetics that go along with art form.
Sure.
It's just like any other art form. Music.
I agree, but just like any other art form, art form, they evolve. And this is what it has evolved into.
What is the aesthetics that have evolved? Because you could break down music. And again, music's a great example. You could say it's evolved, and you go back and listen to Bach and with counterpoint, and most people are like, oh, this is crap. And it's like, because you don't understand it. It's more complex than what you're used to today because you're too busy listening to Nicki Minaj or whatever.
But Shane,
and that has 3 notes.
But I could say that same thing, that if you were involved and you were listening to these movies and more involved in them, then you would be more touched by them. You would understand more why people like me really love them and have to go out and see them. But again, you're not listening to them.
No, you're right. So that's a great point, but I want you to see my point. Your point is that because let's keep talking about music, this very simple pop song reaches more people than a very complicated song. It's like, oh, well, that's so amazing, and that's how art's been elevated. But if you can take 99 musicians and have them, hey, can you listen to this pop song and play it? And every one of them's like, yeah, that's easy. And then it's like, okay, well, listen to this piece by Chopin and play it. And they're like, you got to see that Chopin's better than, or more elevated, more higher art form than today's music.
I think we just have to agree to disagree. Because
that's how film is
That's
today.
like you trying to tell me a steak tastes better than peanut butter. Good for you, but peanut butter tastes better than a steak to me, right? You can't, we're all different. Or a better example, Shane, would be like if I gave you a jalapeno and I had a jalapeno, but to you it was like, whoa, bro, this is burning my mouth. And for me, I was like, whoa, this isn't even hot at all. I can't help how it feels in my mouth, Shane.
At some point, there are aesthetics to art, and you have to be able to judge art based on something. You can't just be Mad Max Thunderdome and, whoever, 2 art enters, 1 art leaves, and it's based on, what people feel today that are, honestly, it's all going down to me. Film, music. People don't understand art because they're not educating themselves. They listen to a Bach piece. They don't understand that, oh my goodness, he's majoring a 9th note there where Nicki Minaj is just like, oh, I'm happy with these 3 notes.
But that's not what art is about to me. And I don't think that's what it should be about. It shouldn't, I say it all the time, when we've made films and I've showed them to people and they'll be like, oh yeah, and I'm like, oh, you don't understand. We had to stay up until 4 a.m., wait for a train to come. It was snowing, a cop shot at us, all these things. And they look at me and they go, yeah, I don't really care. I just want to see what happens,
Yeah, and that's the audience, and that's what Scorsese was talking about, and that's why he's attacking them, because audiences don't care about art. They want entertainment. They want fast food. What's the most popular food in the world?
Right, but that goes to my point that it's evolved into this. Okay. This is what it is now.
But that's not a good thing. That's like saying...
That's not the debate, though.
That's like saying that Bobby Flay, a celebrity chef, is worse food than McDonald's because McDonald's outsells him. How can a McDonald's hamburger be better than a gourmet chef's cooking because more people
hold on.
Like yourself...
Better for you tasting or better for you
tasting? Tasting.
Again, you can't say that because
I guarantee
maybe like my daughter or a child would go, oh, dude, I'll take a McDonald's burger over this every day.
It's because you don't know any better.
But that's not fair.
People don't have elevated taste palates because they're not going out
and the 8 billion people out there in the world, you're telling me there's not one dude that would say, no, dude, I would take a McDonald's cheeseburger over any cheeseburger that's ever been made.
Whether it's taste or not, but you can't say, hey, this McDonald's burger is much better than this gourmet burger.
If you feel that way, you can say that.
Yes, you can say that, but you understand why that's a problem, right?
It's not a problem if you feel that way, right?
So, but
that's just like saying if I feel like I'm a woman inside, that's a problem, right?
No, I'm not saying that that's a problem. I'm just saying that we are sliding down as a society into McDonald's.
We've always been doing that.
No, we haven't. We had elevated music. We had Chopin. We had Beethoven. Now we got, I don't know, whatever's out now that I can't stand listening to.
And see, I get that, and
Charles
I understand
Mingus,
that.
The artist, the jazz artist that poured every single thing into a note. Now artists just show up, like Tarantino says, to a producer that's like, here's the beat. I already produced it.
Sure.
I just need you to lay down tracks. That's art.
Sure. It's a form of it, right? I mean,
It's lazy.
I won't argue with that.
It's lazy.
I won't argue with that whatsoever. It may be lazy.
And people just don't know better because they've only had McDonald's. They don't know what good food is. It's like Shanna's cookies.
I think there's some truth.
There's a reason why
Shanna's cookies into
are
this.
better than what you get at Walmart. There is a reason why those cookies are better.
Sure, and I understand that. But there's also still a dude that's going to go, hey, man, Shanna's cookies are cool, but Oreos are way better.
Just because someone likes it better doesn't mean it's better art.
But it's better
they like
to
it better
them.
in their opinion.
But it's better to them, and that's all that matters.
We have to be able to judge art based on anything, and that's why we have aesthetics, and that's why we can judge them and go, okay.
But what is the objective criteria? There has to be independently empirical measurable measurements to say, hey, like if we whipped our penises out on the table, I can go, well, mine's this long and yours is this long.
Well, they
so
are in art.
You win.
In film, it's composition, it's mise-en-scene, it's sound design. I mean, there's a lot of elements, and then when you stack them up,
but you could get a movie that has all of those and still is a great movie.
It could be, absolutely.
So I think
because if the artist has a powerful message to say, that will transcend the bad special effects or the bad production value.
I understand what you're saying.
What that artist has to say.
I get what you're saying.
It's like your favorite director today. Why I won't watch any of his movies because I'm dead scared of him. But I would put him as one of the top tier working directors today because he has something to say.
Right.
He is an artist.
Right.
And when you watch his films, you know that I'm listening because this isn't just to entertain me. This is actually elevating my mind to a higher level.
But Shane, can't art be both? Can't art be entertainment? And
the best art is
both of those things for sure. But they can be separately both too, right? Good art can just be something that's very entertaining, right?
But it has to be more than entertaining to be art.
Like a comedian, right? This is still.
I mean, do you know what? I mean, I'm a huge comic book fan,
right?
And that's art.
Yeah,
but to say that this comic book is better than a Rembrandt.
I mean, again, I don't know where you put that in.
Neil Adams would be like, yeah, take the Rembrandt.
There's someone out there that will say, hey, dude, the Watchmen graphic novel is the best book ever written. Yeah, there's people out there that would say that.
Most people would choose comic books over a famous painting because they don't understand it. And again, that's not the painting's problem. That's not the artist's problem. It's our problem as an audience member.
Yeah, but
we just don't know
I can't help if I don't want to understand this, and I do want to understand that.
You don't want to. That is your fault because you don't want to.
No, I can't help how I feel though, right?
And if you can help being lazy.
Sure, but it isn't being lazy isn't the reason why I haven't understood why Rembrandt does what he does or why he did.
Because people don't go out, they don't watch Citizen Kane, they don't try to understand why Citizen Kane was so. And it doesn't have to be Citizen Kane. It could be anything. It could be Tarkovsky. It could be Kurosawa.
To me, that's not how art works. Art isn't about understanding. When I go to a museum, an art museum, and I'm looking at shit, I don't stop at everyone and sit there and read everything about it. And now you know what I do?
The best art does.
There's some stuff that I do. It stands out to key in particular, and all that stuff. Now I want to know more about it. And for me, that's what Marvel and some of these things have just been. They've been the thing in the museum that stands out to me. I mean, there's all these other things, and I'm not saying they all aren't great and don't have this great history and how they were made and all that. But I'm not gonna come up and read your thing if the thing down there looks more appetizing to me. But I get what you're saying. But my point is just that my biggest point and takeaway that I wanted from this is that This is just where we are. This is how it has
Sadly.
evolved. And in order
Not a good
for
thing.
these things to coexist, in order for Gaspar Noé and Robert Eggers to be able to make movies like The Northman and The Lighthouse, or anything like that, we have to have Avengers 8 or 4 or 5.
Not at all. Not
in order
at all.
for them
If
to be
we
in
had
theaters,
a
we
higher educated audience member that was
But
saying,
we
"I
can't
want
do that.
Robert
We can't
Eggers,"
educate our audience.
no, they should educate themselves. It's just like me. Whenever I got into movies, my favorite movies are Ghostbusters, Top Gun. I love Top Gun, but I'm an 8-year-old kid.
It is not an
I
artist's
went
job
out-
to educate his audience.
No,
his
it's
job.
not. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that we have lazy, unsophisticated audience members that
always
don't
had that.
want to go out.
We've always
That is
had
not
that.
true. That's why the new Hollywood in the 60s and 70s movement existed. That's why we have Spielberg.
we may have more
Lucas,
now, but we've
Francis
always
Ford
had
Coppola.
lazy
Nobody was going to
people.
give Spielberg money until audience started demanding it. Until they were like, "Hey, I want to see Easy Rider. I want to see more movies like Easy Rider." So studios started
And that
giving
same
millions
thing
of
is
dollars.
happening right now, but
No,
with
it's
Marvel and DC
Yes,
and
you're
comic
right.
book genre
Absolutely.
material.
It's the audience clamoring for this stuff. But that's my point, is that the audience has become less sophisticated over time. Because now all they want is popcorn movies. They don't want to think. They want the movie to think for them. They don't want any discovery. They don't want a 2001
Yeah,
ending.
sure.
They want the ending explained.
Yep.
They don't want
Yeah.
to have to think and
I
talk
agree with
for
that
years
100%. But
about
that's
what the
where we
movie's
are.
about.
That's
Sadly.
where it
Yes.
has led to.
Yes.
And so because of that,
That doesn't mean we should embrace that.
but here's why we have to embrace
No,
it.
we don't have to embrace.
Here-
That's like
we
saying,
do.
"Hey, this country's racist, so we might as well embrace that." No, we should be better.
This isn't racism. This isn't
That's
something.
like saying that's the same thing. I'm just saying that the things
That's
are
like saying, hey, we came out with a subscription service where people can go out and see movies all they want for $9.99 a month. Hey, we're going to probably lose some money in the beginning. So should we just not do it? No, because over time, eventually this is going to turn into something big and we are going to make money. It's no different than that in that comparison to me. This is something that, in order for, like I said, for Tarantino to get a movie to be put in theaters,
sadly. No, I understand.
we
your
have
point.
to have Avengers and
Yes,
Thor and those
sadly,
things.
because audience members aren't going to support the
That's
real
right.
artists.
That's right.
So you're saying that's a better world, that the
I'm not saying
audience
it's a better
member
world.
aren't
I'm just saying it's
supporting
the world
artists?
we're in. So if Tarantino wants
And
to
that's not
keep
the
seeing
world
his
we're
movies
in.
be in theater, what you do is again, you say those
No,
movies
you
aren't for
rock
me.
the boat.
But
You
I'm
let
glad
the
people
world
are spending
know.
money in the box
No,
office,
not
so
at
I
all.
can still put theater movies
If you
out.
don't like the world like we don't, because of a lot of especially in this country, you don't just sit back and go, "Oh, well, that person's going to be ignorant."
I get that one as a cause, but this is just
Art
people
is a
making art,
cause.
man.
Art is a
This is
cause.
just people. Yeah, but
there is nothing more
there's no
important in this
rights
world
to it. There's
besides
no-
love than art. It's love, then art, and then there's everything else.
Yeah, I understand, but I still think that I just think that if it was me and I was a creator, I would say, like I said, they're not for me, and I'm not a fan, but I'm glad they exist because. Again, my movie tomorrow wouldn't be coming out. There would be no theaters. Theaters wouldn't exist, guys. They would have died a decade ago if it wasn't
Just
for these
because
movies.
it's being supported doesn't make it right. I mean, meth is one of the most
Yes, but
popular
this isn't
drugs in
meth,
the world.
man.
That isn't.
This
Yes, it
isn't
is.
meth. No, it's not.
Today's
This is-
movies are meth.
They
are meaningless.
What people
They are
like,
pointless.
What people like, what
They're
they
there to
taste,
get
or
you
what
high.
they see. Their tastes are different, and that's always going to be evolving and changing. We could get to a point where we see the opposite thing happen at some point. I seen an article the other day where one of the big studio experts was predicting that movie theaters will actually be bigger than they've ever been in the next few years. And the reason is because of Netflix making that deal with putting Knives Out in theater. Because his prediction is over time, all these streamers that are blasting all this shit all over to the streaming services are going to start going, now we got to put all these things in theaters. And so when they do, the theaters are going to be more overloaded with more content, more diverse stuff.
More content's not the solution. Knives Out isn't art.
Knives Out was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy
Just because,
Award.
okay,
It's a great movie.
Yeah, do you know how many times we've had that conversation of Academy Award winners and how they hold up today?
I mean, What?
I'd have to say 60% of their winners, looking back, are well deserved. Most of their winners, you look back and you're like, how did that piece of crap win?
Yeah,
because it was
man.
popular.
I don't know, man. When I look back, and I've done this with Trevor and Lucas before too. It's always easy to say that now, but then when you look back and you start looking at these movies, you're like, God.
I know your favorite movie is The Shining, right? One of them. How many Academy Awards did it win?
But see, what does that matter though? What's that mean?
You're the one that brought up the Academy Awards. You said Knives Out was an Academy Award winner, so obviously it's a better
nominated movie.
Well, Shining wasn't, so obviously Knives Out is better than The Shining.
That's not what I was saying.
Knives Out better than Shining.
My point was you just said it's not art, is what you said.
It's not art.
And my point was, well, it was nominated for an Academy Award.
I think even the director would be like, oh no, I didn't have anything to say with Knives Out. What is he saying? What am I supposed to learn
Shane, not
from this?
everything you're supposed to art is supposed to say something.
Yes, it does.
Jackson Pollock is a perfect example.
And to him, he knew he was saying
That's
something.
bullshit.
He was speaking.
That's such bullshit.
Whether
he
if
can
it was
say whatever he wants.
or whatever
he can Trevor his way through life if he wants and pretend that there's some sort of reason.
He's on the very low end of art.
Right, but there's people out there, like I said, that would say, hey, dude, they got Pollock all through their house, and they're like, hey, man, and never been art better than Jackson Pollock, and there never will be. But that doesn't mean there has to be meaning to it, and that doesn't mean they're wrong or right.
Look, the first thing we learned in film school is you have to be able to, because this helps you in the field, because when you are communicative, you can get, your point across.
Sure.
But the whole idea was you have to be able to explain why you like something, why you like Knives Out. You can't just say, oh, it's cool, oh, it's flashy, because that doesn't tell me anything about it.
That's so bullshit. Shane, you know how many times in my life I felt shit and I couldn't explain it one freaking second. Not even a word of why I felt it, when I felt it, how I was feeling my whole life I've had that, Shane. So have you, so have we all. So to say that I need to tell you why I enjoyed something or why, that's bullshit. You shouldn't have to tell somebody why you
should be able to. You should. I'm not saying you have to.
Maybe if you're a really intelligent person that's, but
why
but
can't
for an
we all be
average
intelligent people?
For an average person just to say, hey man, I liked it. That is.
So you say right there that the average film goer doesn't need to be intelligent, especially towards whatever they're watching.
No film goer needs to be intelligent.
I disagree. I think as a human race, we should all thrive to be more intelligent, to be better people.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
To me, that's what this is all about.
Right, but to expect, that film needs to change your audience or deliver a message. Like I said, that's not the job of a film. It never has been and it never will be.
It's the job of art. Not every film is art.
But not all art is expected to do that. Some art does, but not all.
See, I think you're very generous with the term art. I consider very little art. Just because something exists doesn't make it art. Just because someone made it because they carved JD Hart's MS into a tree, then you could call that art. But is that really art?
It is, because it has to be, you know why? Because it's back to what you said. You said it yourself, is that there's levels to the game, right? And then so that's just art. Real low art then, right?
Very low art.
Exactly.
And that's how I feel about today's movie. It's JD loves MS. I know. That was like 40 minutes. I'm sorry.
Moving on. Lots of fun. Listen, Tarantino, shut the hell up. Don't make me come get you, you son of a bee.
The worst part about today is you have me defending Tarantino. I'm not even a Tarantino fan.
I know. I knew when you heard my Pulp Fiction take, you were going to be upset. But, man, it is what it is. Again, I couldn't help it. It's just how I felt. I wanted so badly to love it, and there was moments in there that I loved so much that I was trying to lie to myself and say,
I'm watching Pulp Fiction this weekend.
I tried to lie to myself and be like, no, you like this, but I just didn't. I was just lying to myself. I didn't like it, man. But yeah, Quentin Tarantino, just shut up, dude. We just want you to shut up. Are you gonna make a 10th movie or not, man? That's all we care about. We've been hearing you want to make a Star Trek movie. Make something. I can see a Quentin Tarantino Marvel movie. That'd be cool. like a Ant-Man bank heist type movie or something. I don't know. Anyways, guys.
I don't think he could say all those N-words in a Marvel movie.
Oh, yeah, right. We'd have to have the first canceled Marvel movie. But anyway, guys, let me know down in the comment section below how much of an ass you think Quentin Tarantino is. For me, he's not very high on the list. Scorsese is on my shit list for sure. He will never be a guest on this show. I'm just joking, Martin. If you're out there listening, we will take you anytime, any place. You just tell us. But yeah, moving on, guys. We're gonna move on to our second main topic. So let us know in the comment section below what you guys think. All right. With that being said, we're gonna move on quickly. Just want to talk about quickly. Shane, Daphne Keane. I know you've never seen the Logan. That's what I would like you to do. I would like you to borrow Logan and watch that. I
actually have Logan. I just never put it on.
Totally should watch it. I would love for you to see it. You love Hugh Jackman. You love Wolverine. You love Patrick Stewart as Professor X, and it's kind of this closing chapter. I guarantee you will love it, and I guarantee you the exact thing you felt about the Batman is what you're gonna be like. Damn, this was badass, and how the hell didn't I see this? I'm an idiot. But yeah, Daphne Keane plays X-23, which is his, you know who she is from the comics. It's his daughter / clone. She was, 8 or 9.
I'm already starting to hate Logan because I love Old Man Logan. Yeah. And he doesn't have family because they're all murdered at the beginning.
Yeah, well, it's not really family. I mean, but yeah, it is
in Old Man Logan, so it actually has
they really kill his family. Yeah, he can't pay rent.
It's got some real stakes.
There's a lot of stuff going on in that that's just dark. I mean, you got meth selling Bruce Banner, right? The whole family of
they're like the
Hulks.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre Hulks.
Right, or Hills Have Eyes,
right,
kind of version of Hulks, very, very scary. But
yeah, I do need to give it a shot. Everyone I know, even people that don't like comic book movies, are like, "Oh, Logan's one of the best."
For sure. But yeah, she was probably like, maybe 8, 9 when they filmed that thing. She's got to be. I seen some pictures of her on the internet today when I was looking at this, and I thought, she's now become attractive to me. So she's like 18. So that's how long ago it was. But yeah, she looks like a beautiful young girl now. And yeah, it's being rumored that she's been cast in this Star Wars Acolyte series as a secret role that's kind of unknown, and they're not really saying much about. And I just wanted to talk about that, cover it. Obviously, I love Daphne Keane. I love the Logan series. I always wanted to see more of her. I thought she was a great X-23. I've never seen her in anything other than Logan, and she was amazing. She was 8 or 9. Shane, you know how we feel about child actors. They're most of the time god awful. This was one of those moments where it's the opposite, right? Where you're like, oh man, how did they find this girl? And then it probably ends up being one of those things too. When she's like 20, she's like the worst actress ever. Who knows? So I haven't seen her since. But when I seen Logan, I thought she was really great for a child actress. I enjoyed her a lot in it. I am looking forward to this Star Wars Acolyte series. There's a lot of hype behind it, and this adds a lot more intrigue for me. So Shane, you're hearing this. Give me your quick thoughts. I know you don't know a lot about Daphne Keane.
I don't know anything until you sent me the article today, and so I looked it up, and yeah, she was in Logan and a few other stuff that I didn't see. But this show kind of seems cool. It's going to focus on the dark side, which is different.
Right.
That's not going to draw me into it, but I'm sure there's fans that are like, oh, we haven't seen this before. So, for her to end up in this show, this is a great, career move for her.
Yeah,
she could have signed up for any Star Wars. She could have been in Skywalker.
Right.
It was like, yeah, this is too bad that she's in this because I'm feeling burnt out. But, I have faith that Acolyte will probably bring people like you to like, oh man, we haven't seen this side.
Yeah, right. It's kind of a different take, a different feel. Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. So I think this is pretty cool news, and I'll go in fresh since I've never seen her before. And
sure,
see how it goes.
Well, you should check out Logan definitely, and you'll get a little bit more of a feel of how she is. But like I said, I mean that was 10 years ago. She was 8. She's 18, 20 years old or so now. So, but yeah, guys. Let us know down in the comment section below what you guys' thoughts are about Daphne Keane being cast in the Acolyte series. Are you guys excited? You like Daphne Keane? Hate Daphne Keane? Not looking for the series? Definitely let me know down in the comment section below. Okay, with that down, guys, we are going to move on to our final main topic today. And our final main topic today is this. Shane, I know you're not big on the Harry Potter series and all the J.K. Rowling.
That's funny how every segment starts with Shane.
Yeah,
I
sure.
know you're not a
Sure. J.K. Rowling. Well, it was a little before your time, right? You know,
I saw the first two movies. Yeah, I was in college.
Yeah, right. You were. I imagine if Harry Potter would have came out when you were 12, you would probably.
I wish Harry Potter came out when I was 12.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It seems like the perfect. What I always thought of it as now as an adult is kind of like the Lord of the Rings for kids.
Yeah,
like it's their big mythos and their big Middle Earth, you know, and I always loved it. Of course, I grew up with it. I read the first Harry Potter book when I was in second grade. So, you know, I have a lot of history with it. I could give a damn about J.K. Rowling. She can die in a ditch or she could become president. I don't give a damn. She said some things, some transphobic things and all this stuff. I'm going to go back to my thing earlier. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's entitled to them. I'm not saying I agree with anything she said or I disagree with anything. I don't really even know the logistics or exactly everything she has said. But what I can tell you is I don't freaking care either way what the hell she said. Listen, if the fans don't want her working on the Harry Potter series, cool, I guess. Then we live in a world which I disagreed with. But, you know, it's kind of against your argument, Shane, where, you know, we don't like what Sonic looks like, so change your art. You know, if that's the world we're living in and we don't want J.K. Rowling working on Harry Potter movies because she's this or that or she said this or that, cool. Again, I don't freaking care. I don't think she makes or breaks these movies. The new series, Shane, I know you haven't seen any of, and you're not alone in it this time. I've never seen any of the Fantastic Beasts movies. I would never watch any of those damn movies, and I could give a damn about those movies. And she wrote them all, and they've just steadily gotten worse and worse. Box office, critically, audience reviews. So it seems like she's kind of on the way out anyway. But what we're hearing now is that Warner Brothers new CEO from Discovery, David Zaslav, is saying that, hey, man, I want to get rid of doing these Fantastic Beasts movies because they are failing, and I want to get back to what was banking us some money back in the day. The original Avengers movies, the original billion-dollar franchises was Harry Potter, man. Those movies made a ton of freaking money. I think there was like 7 or 8 of them, and they made like $6 billion between
7.7 for 8 movies.
There you go. So almost $8 billion per freaking film. Mm-hmm. So if you're David Zaslav, right? If I'm David Zaslav, you get a guy like me who thinks dollar bills. You get me in a seat like that. I'm thinking, why the hell we haven't made a Harry Potter something? Mm-hmm. Why are we doing an offshoot wannabe like about Harry's cousin or whatever the hell that Fantastic Beast shit is about? Why are we not doing what we need to do to make more? Even if we can't get Daniel Radcliffe, let's do an old Harry Potter and we'll just cast someone else, or a young Harry Potter, or whatever. There's just so many options when it comes to that world, and so many characters that people do love. I mean, even if you did like a Malfoy series, I'd watch that. I'd watch a Hagrid series. Rest in peace. He just passed away a couple weeks ago. But I would have watched the Hagrid series. I'd watch a Dumbledore series. I'd watch any of that shit. So it makes sense to me that he comes in and he's looking at this going, why the hell, what are we doing, guys? Especially with the Fantastic Beasts movies, they're spending a couple $100 million on those every couple years. There's supposed to be 5 of those, guys. They're at 3, and it's looking like it's dead. From everything I'm hearing, Fantastic Beasts is dead. So with that being said, it looks like he wants to move forward working with J.K. Rowling, whether she said or did or whatever she did or said. He wants to continue to work with her, and it seems like they're going to do this, and that we're going to see some sort of Harry Potter thing moving forward down the road. Also, I would just like to throw out that Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Rupert Grint and a lot of these actors have stated that they are not really interested in doing anything like that anytime soon. It does seem like something that they would all maybe want to come back and do like a one-time thing for like when they're all 40 or something. And they're all still pretty young. They're all around, 30 30 to 35. A couple of them just had their first kids, so they're really just starting to get into life. And the last thing, Shane, I know you don't know this, but they were asking Daniel Radcliffe literally like 2 days ago, like, hey man, rumors that you're gonna play Wolverine, what tell us about that? And he's like, dude, you think I'd sign up to play some shit for anything? I don't care how cool it is, for 10 years. Hell no, I did that. I will never, ever, ever do it again. Even for Wolverine, even if it meant I would be Wolverine. If I could turn into Hugh Jackman, I still wouldn't do it.
It's a long commitment.
Right. And I think it's going to be hard to get these guys back. I doubt you can, but money talks, and those dudes don't make a lot of money doing whatever they're doing. So I think if you spent a lot of your budget on getting these guys in, that would, even if, like I said, you get one, you do a Ron Weasley series or something, I think that's still better than what they're doing with Fantastic Beasts. I think it's a better option. Again, my take on the J.K. Rowling stuff is I don't care. I'm sure that lots of you guys have opinions on all that stuff, and like I said, you probably don't want her a part of it. I don't care either way. Shane, you're hearing all this stuff. What are your thoughts? Tell me your take on all this.
Yeah, first off, just some of the stuff that Zavlab was talking about, how it was a investor's call to a bunch of the investors, and he plans to focus on franchises. So makes sense, dust off Harry Potter. One of the other franchises.
That's what we've been talking about here on the show, right? Since we started, that we live in the franchise world, right?
In fact, he even mentioned Lord of the Rings in the same conversation. He said they still own the theatrical rights to Lord of the Rings.
Right, so why the hell has that been just sitting on a shelf for 10 years?
So honestly, I don't see a new Harry Potter show doing well. I think that the original series was lightning in a bottle for a couple reasons. Like when I take a look at Fantastic Beasts, I think why it didn't do so well wasn't because of the Rawlings, bull crap.
Yeah, no, for
and
sure.
it wasn't because, it might be good.
They're obviously not great movies.
I think it's because when you look at them, it's all these adults that look like they're cosplaying at a Harry Potter movie marathon. I just don't think that adults work in this type of series. So now, when we're bringing back Harry Potter, do we bring back the original cast now that they're adults? I think they're going to look just as silly.
So my argument...
Hold on. So then, do you restart the series with a brand new group of kids? I don't think that works either. I think the series isn't going to do well no matter what they do.
I am not completely against that thought. I think you may be onto something, but here's the only argument that I have in this. And there's a quote from The Office that Dwight says that I can't remember. But nostalgia is one of the only human weaknesses besides the throat,
nice.
Right? And it's so true because we had Aladdin re-release in 2019, Lion King.
So it could work
all those
for
things.
A movie.
That's right. And I don't think you could get them to do much more than that if you could. So I think you do one movie and you get, Key all twinkly-eyed and seeing Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson.
I don't think you can bring back the
trailer.
Yeah.
No, but if you do that, I think that at least is a $1 billion movie, I think. And if you got a $1 billion movie just sitting in your pocket, why aren't you playing that card?
Well, you could tell it's a $1 billion movie if they just did a one-shot, one-off, because they just had the
Christmas holiday special.
Yeah, where
the
reunion, and that was the biggest news.
I had 7 people at my house,
probably in tears.
We all cried.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. It was lightning in a bottle, and they'll never be able to replicate that. Yeah. This is exactly why they should be taking chances. Because when they made the first Harry Potter movie, it was a chance.
Right.
It was an expensive movie for kids. Fantasy. Kids don't like fantasy at this point. And then it exploded into this.
And it had all that religious stuff blocking it, too, because it was magic and witches.
Absolutely. So,
it had everything going against it.
And so bringing back this series is a very safe franchise heavy, is a very safe direction to go. I understand why he's going
I think it's safer to go with if you're going to do it, it's safer to not spend $200 million on a Fantastic Beast movie, and it's safer to say, hey, we'll make a HBO Max series for $20 million and see how it does.
Yeah, but he's over here going, if I can make $1 billion per movie.
That's what I'm saying. He's trying to flip this shit. Yeah. So the way he's looking at it, he's like I just said, you've had this in your wallet the whole time? What do you mean? We need more beer, bro. You said we was out of money. Pay up, motherfucker. So that's the way I see it, and that's the way he should see it. Like you said in that Investor Days call, he should with all of it, right? Shane, if we walked in there and all of a sudden tomorrow, if David Zaslav called us tomorrow and said, Keith Toothman and Shane Wallace, I'm giving you guys the theatrical rights to Lord of the Rings.
No more. We made the books. What more do you need?
If he did that, Shane, we would start working on a Lord of the Rings something today.
I would,
right
but I would
now.
be so disappointed in myself.
Yeah,
I would take that money and I would have very, very broken sleep at night. Just like, God, I'm part of the problem. I sold out.
It's all right. We know how to spend our money. We would get good enough stuff to make sure we were passed out every night. But yeah, and so I get what he's saying, right? And I get as a fan what you mean, right? Like, just let it go.
Yeah, we got it. We got the perfect trilogy.
I feel that about the greatest trilogy of all time.
Here's the thing. Do you know what my favorite trilogy was growing up? And it used to be
Back to the Future.
Well, that now it is because they didn't bring it back. But I used to say Indiana Jones.
Okay, sure.
And then we saw what happened to that. Now I don't even want to talk about Indiana Jones.
Yeah, right.
It's just like
yeah, and that's kind of how I felt, like I said, about Rings of Power when I tried to watch it.
Right.
I don't care how good it is. I just don't. It just shouldn't exist probably,
Yeah,
and
probably.
I don't really care. But that being said, if you're the guy with all the money trying to make more money,
Absolutely.
you're like, why the hell are we? What the fuck? What have we been doing, guys? We're idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that about all of this stuff that they have, right? I mean, I know they just made a new Matrix movie, but if they hadn't, I would be looking at that and anything that Warner Brothers owns. You know, I think they still does Warner Brothers own New Line, I believe.
if they own Lord of the Rings, then yes, they do.
So then they own Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
They own lots of franchises that could probably bring in some dough, man. And they've just been sitting on a shelf getting dusty. And David Zaslav's looking at that and going, hey, man, it's time to dust some of this shit off. And it's time to make some money. And when he does, it's going to be hilarious. Because I've never personally seen, I'm a big flip guy, like my life's always been about making money and making more money. And so it's intriguing to see a guy that is doing it on the ultimate level, right? That'd be like, if I told you one day you came over and was like, yeah, bro, I bought Warner Brothers. I'm going to get it going right and I'm going to sell that shit.
Well, I want to see it done too, because that normally doesn't happen. Like
No.
the story I think about is when Coca-Cola bought Paramount in the 80s. Columbia. Coca-Cola bought Columbia in the 80s, and like 2 years later they sold it to Sony. They were like, no, we want a profitable business. We're doing great with Coca-Cola. We're making money there. We're not wasting it like Columbia. So, I mean, that's the game with movies. It's, it's a craps table.
Yeah, for sure. But again, we live in the world where the franchise material is what people want.
Franchise material is like giving an extra die in your hand when you're playing craps.
Yeah, so you got a better odds.
You got better odds.
Right, yeah,
you got
of
better
making
odds.
this work. And then again, I go back to, and I'm going to do this for years, so get used to it. I go back to Top Gun, right? A movie that I'm like, who the fuck's asking for another Top Gun movie?
All those Top Gun fans.
And whoever is, they were asking for it like 30 years ago. So who's asking for it today? Not very many people at all. And I would have literally bet everything that I own, Shane, that movie wouldn't have made $1 billion.
Me too.
And it made like 1.3,
and not
1.4.
only that, but I heard great reviews from it.
People I still talk to today, Trevor and Lucas are on the show all the time, and they tell me all the time the best movie that's came out this year is Top Gun, and they're like, dude, you're gonna love this movie, you gotta watch it, and that tells me that it's gonna be that event, that kind of thing, and that's cool. But man, I've never seen Top Gun. I don't give a damn, and plus I want to punch Tom Cruise in the face every time I see him.
What do you have? What's the?
He's just so short. He's like a little
I'm
kid.
Short.
I like.
He's probably my height.
He's like 5'2".
Is he really? I thought he was like my height, 5'5" or 5'6".
He's little. Yeah, he might be. That's all.
Yeah.
But that feels like 5'2" to me. So.
That's why he overcompensates by doing all those stunts.
Everything. I'm going to space. Yeah. Right. Yeah, for sure.
It's that Napoleon complex.
Yeah. Anyway, you and Tarantino go eat a dick together, Tom Cruise. That's straight here from the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel. Anyways, guys, let us know down in the comment section below what your guys' thoughts are on all this. I forget what we were even talking about now.
About the new Harry Potter.
Yeah, about the J.K. Rowling stuff. And that's a big part of it too. I know me and Shane we're not going to talk a lot about that
it for sure.
Yeah, because again,
there's no right answer.
There is no right answer.
There is a right answer. The right answer is always love.
Yes.
And that you should be compassionate and love everybody.
And that's what we're all about.
That somehow pisses people off because people just are angry.
Sometimes, but we're completely against hate. We don't want to see no one hating on anybody for the things that they love or the things they want to be. And so if that's what J.K. Rowling's doing, then shame on her.
Yep.
And shame on anyone else, guys, that does those kind of things.
But I can't hate her because I won't express hate.
Right.
I just wish she didn't.
And we don't want to hate her because we want her to be better, right?
Exactly.
We want her to understand her behavior and improve from it. And as intelligent human beings, that's what we do. When we get new information, we reevaluate how we feel and the things we thought. And that new information, if you're an intelligent person, it will alter the way you previously felt. And so, yeah, I don't want to hate on her or anyone. And we don't want anyone hating on anyone else.
Love everyone.
And yeah, so spread love, guys. Be positive, be happy. But do definitely let me know down in the comment section below. What are you guys' thoughts on all of it? I know there's a lot of Potterheads out there. Lucas, I see you were in the chat. I know a lot of you guys love that kind of stuff. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. Do we want... I mean, really, guys, again, we were sitting here, a house full of us, shoulder to shoulder on a couch, crying together and having this shared moment of remembering our childhood. And
what's funny is I had the same moment this year for the Fresh Prince reunion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And there was like a Friends one and so many. I'm sure me neither. But I'm sure lots of people had these kind of moments. But yeah, and so when we had that, my question is do we? I remember feeling like this was it. This was a nice cap to it all. Like it kind of felt like we got that movie we wanted where they're all older, and in a way it felt like we got it. But it was so much love and heart in it because it was real, right? It wasn't no one acting. We got to hear real stories and true things. And
this is what they should do. So bring it back, and it's Harry and Hermione. That's her name.
Yes,
they have a kid. Harry and Hermione die. Just like the original Harry Potter, we focus on their kid. There you go.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Could totally work.
There you go, Warner.
Right? Send us a check.
Send us a check.
Right? For sure. But yeah, let us know down in the comment section below, guys. Do we want to see that? Do we want that? Because again, at the end of that, we did all as a group kind of also feel like, hey, man, like we don't need it, but it'd kind of be cool and nostalgic to see them all back together being these characters, because not only did we miss Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson because we love those people now, but I miss Harry Potter, man. What's Harry Potter doing, bro? He was like what, Captain America and all these other heroes are to me when I was a kid. Harry Potter was my hero. He was the guy that was going to save us, He was going to defeat Voldemort and keep the world from being evil. And where's he at? What's he doing? What's he do when he's 30 or 40 or 80 or, all kinds of questions I would have and I'd be curious about. But do we want that? Do we want it? And would it be okay if we got it in just a single format? Definitely let me know down in the comment section below what you guys' thoughts are on this. Like I said, on the J.K. Rowling situation, on more Harry Potter. Definitely let me know down in the comment section below what you guys are thinking. All right. With that being said, that is our final main topic today. We're going to quickly move in because we've ran on too long because Shane decided to defend Tarantino to the death. So because of that, we're quickly going to get through our chat questions. Shane, what do we got?
What is your favorite Stallone movie?
Man, I'm gonna pass on favorite Stallone movie because I honestly have not seen enough. There's like 48 Rocky movies. I've seen like 3, maybe 2. There's like 30 some Expendable movies. It feels like that he's all in, and like so many of those different things that I've just never seen. But I will give you this. My favorite thing that I've seen recently, and Shane, I told you about this, and you got to go check it out, is Nemesis. Or what's Nemesis?
I look for where was that streaming on? I searched it.
It's on Amazon Prime. It's not Nemesis. That's the bad guy's name. What's the good guy's?
the Patriot,
the Samaritan.
Samaritan.
The
That's right.
Samaritan is the good guy's name, and that's the name of the movie. It's called The Samaritan.
Oh, I searched Nemesis because the comic's called Nemesis.
Yes, it is, and yes,
that's why I couldn't find it.
Yes, but yes, and it was great. So I will give you that. What was it called again? Damn it,
Samaritan.
The Samaritan, which is available on Amazon Prime. Was supposed to come in theaters. The pandemic delayed it, and then they decided last minute, like, oh, I guess this isn't good enough for theaters. I thought it was great. I mean, it's not, high quality comic book material, but man, I thought it was a great like couch popcorn one. Like it had a twist in it at the end, a big Shyamalan twist that I thought I kind of seen coming the whole time, but still played out well, and I liked it. So that's probably my favorite thing that I've seen recently from Stallone. What would you say, Shane?
It'd be really easy to say like Rocky 3 or 4, but I'm going to go with one. I just saw this maybe about a year or two ago. I grew up with this movie, but I just rewatched it maybe a year or two ago. Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
So good.
Is Demolition Man
with
is it
Wesley
the arm
Snipes?
wrestling movie?
No, it's the one where they get cryogenically frozen, Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. And like he's the cop, and Wesley Snipes is the bad guy, Simon. And then they are in the future, and it's like this perfect utopian, and like you can't swear. And so he's like, "Hey, fuck that shit." And he's like, "You've been fined $200 for swearing." And it's great. If you haven't seen it,
I've never seen it.
Definitely watch it. I mean, it's crap, but it's so much fun.
What year was it, you think?
93?
Oh, yeah. Those are bad era of movies.
Hey,
sure.
And that's why when Pulp Fiction came out in 94, it just blew the doors open to possibilities of Hollywood cinema.
Well, I would tell you that I didn't know the year that Pulp Fiction came out, and I would say that just changed my opinion on it slightly. Watching that movie, I would have said 87.
Wow, 87?
It felt outdated and old. But again, Shane, I've seen so much now.
That was the year Wall Street came out, and I think that was the best.
It's just
Academy
like Nick
Award
Swartzen said one time. He was like, look, man, you know those Transformers movies that you hate, and you hate Michael Bay now because of them, and you hate movies because of them? If you show that to the guys that were watching Chaplin in the theater, they would have all thought that was the greatest thing ever made.
Because audiences are stupid. City Lights, Charlie Chaplin's City Lights is still top 3 greatest comedy ever.
Sure.
Period.
Sure.
Top 5 greatest endings. Period.
Sure.
I would rather watch City Lights than
but his
99% of
his
everything
point is
that comes out.
That we've become jaded. Like we've seen
become
some
idiots.
Sure. Well, yeah, that too. Well, there's so much more of us now, right?
One of the greatest movies I saw this year was Tarkovsky's Stalker. And it was about 2.5 hours, and I guarantee you everybody would walk away going, that movie's a piece of crap. And it was one of the most beautiful things. It's now top 5 greatest movies I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
And I just watched it. So I had Michael Bay to compare it to. And it's
Right.
a 1979 movie, and it still looks better than anything. I would compare it to the director that did Tarkovsky, the director that does Dune. I would say it's very similar to his work.
Yeah, not a big fan. He's just kind of a slow burn.
This guy's the slowest of burns. Tarkovsky is the slowest of burns.
Man.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I don't like
The Stalker.
that.
Check it out.
Okay, what else we got?
Worst Tarantino movie.
Okay, I'll go first. This was the easiest one for me. Like all of them. Just all of them. They're all the worst and they're all the best to me because none of them really stand out and none of them are really like bad or anything. They're just all, it's funny, back to what we were talking about with, I remember one of the things Scorsese said was, they feel so formulaic. And then I watched Irishman, I'm like, really, dude? That's the dude that remade Goodfellas and every other
That's
thing.
That's a style. That's not a formula.
It's still a formula. A style is a formula, man.
Style is not a formula. Whatever, they're completely different.
I can turn my style into a formula, and I can sell that formula in designer shops. It happens all the time.
No, that's true. But Scorsese's definitely a style. It's like when we talk about Zack Snyder. He has a style.
Right, but it becomes a formula. So when he goes into a movie and he needs to project his style, he has these certain things he needs to do in order to do that. That is his formula.
Yeah, but with those great directors like Scorsese, everything they do has intent. He's moving the camera for a reason, not because it looks cool, not because Tarantino, that's why Tarantino moves the camera, because it looks cool. Right. Scorsese moves the camera with intent.
Sure.
And it's there to help the story or the character or the atmosphere of the situation.
And that is how film
reason.
should be. Yes. But when you do the same particular techniques and type of things and shots over and over again, it becomes a formula.
And also, with the Irishman and Scorsese, I hated that movie. I watched like 20 minutes, but I would never diss Scorsese because I can't stand anything Spielberg's done in the last 10 years, but that doesn't take away how great Close Encounters was, how great Jaws is, how great Jurassic Park, any of his great movies. Right. Just because he's making ass now doesn't take away the fact that he was brilliant during his peak years.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I completely agree, and I know that, he's a great filmmaker, but the thing is like I said, is we often talk about the box checking thing. And at the end of the day, Tarantino has boxes he's checking.
I would agree with that.
Scorsese has boxes he's checking. Everyone has some sort of box. Even Stanley Kubrick had boxes that he was checking. Each one of his movies needed a certain this, and then it needed this. And if you look at all of the movies, they all have those certain box checked. There's no coincidence to that, right?
Yeah, but that's not really a formula. That means that's a style.
Now we're splitting hairs,
because that means that I could take that same formula, make a movie using it, and it's going to look just like Kubrick.
No. Okay.
I agree. That's the formula, because the formula is like a recipe.
That's how style works too, right? I could wear a baby blue jumpsuit.
A formula is like a recipe. If I follow the recipe to the T, it's going to come out looking like your movie. But it doesn't work like that because it's his style. No one else can replicate it.
But style works differently, right? So if I wear a blue jumpsuit, it may look great on me. And I could sell that blue jumpsuit into a store and you buy it and it may look terrible on you, right? But it still looks good, right? It's still a good style.
But
the formula didn't work for you.
But the formula doesn't always. That's
what I'm saying. Formula doesn't work for everyone when it comes to style specifically, right?
I don't think style is a formula.
I think it can become one. When you're doing it long enough, right? Specifically,
I think formula
it becomes like I did this in this movie, so you kind of. Even Lynch,
when you get to that, that's bad filmmaking. But Lynch doesn't do rehash stuff because he did it before. He does it with intent. He's doing it because for whatever reason he feels that that's necessary for his story. He's not doing it because it's cool.
Sure, but I feel like there's no coincidence that he feels like that.
That's the world he lives in. That's world he lives in.
Lynch is a bad example. No one knows what's going on in that bad man's mind.
The problem I have with this conversation is because you could do that with any director. I love, Fellini, Bergman, and you could say, every Bergman film, they all kind of feel the same, and it's like, okay, but that's one guy making it. That's no excuse to Marvel, where every Marvel movie feels the same, even though it's 50 different directors.
That's true completely. But that shows you when, back to what we were talking about, when the formula is good. Right? When it's really good, the style works for everybody.
Well, that's definitely a formula. And people have tried to do the Bergman formula, but it comes from a place of personal.
You can't just mimic that. Yeah. He can't say, all right, here's what you do to make a Bergman film.
Yeah.
He can't. Even he couldn't do that. Only he could make a Bergman film. It's just the way it was.
In fact, there's a couple of the biggest.
So I'll give you that, and this is what makes it different to me. You're right. What makes Marvel a formula is that anyone can come in and they can put on that baby blue shit and they're gonna look stylish and cool.
Yeah. In fact, have you seen Last House on the Left?
Yes, for sure.
That was influenced and inspired by the original Wes Craven.
I have not seen that one.
Okay. But kind of similar, but it is based on a Bergman film.
Oh, really?
It's called, what is it? Summer, no. I can't remember, but, girls raped and her parents revenged death and killed. Oh, wow. So it's very similar, but you can't, Wes Craven took that formula, but it's his film. It's a Wes Craven film.
Right.
And then you look at Bergman's, and that's a Bergman film. So the great directors have these styles. Even if they do take a formula, it's still going to be their film.
So I guess my thing is that their style kind of becomes their formula for them. Right?
True. Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah. But you're right. It with Marvel, it translates for everyone. I mean, you and me could go in and direct a Marvel movie,
and it'll look
and
just
as
like
long
a
as we're doing the things they said, it's probably gonna be because we can't. And this is Tarantino's point.
Worst,
is I can't
Ant-Man
really put my name on it. Right.
At worst, we'll make Ant-Man 2.
Right. or Thor 2.
Or Thor 2.
But that's kind of Tarantino's point, right? Is that it won't be a Tarantino movie. It'll never feel like, oh, I'm watching a Tarantino movie. That being said, you should check out the new...
It's only a Tarantino movie when Spike Lee's like, oh my God, that's too many N-words, dude.
That being said, you should check out the new, what's it called? Dang, I forgot. I completely lost my train of thought.
Well, let's move on to this other question.
What else we got?
So, oh, wait, I didn't answer worst Tarantino movie. I'm going to say Kill Bill because...
Oh, I hate those movies.
Even though there's other movies that I dislike, there's elements that I love, like the Inglourious Bastards. I love the villain, the guy that plays the Nazi. Incredible. So there's like these moments in these movies, but Kill Bill is the most uninspired, fan-made. It's like any of us when we get into movies. I'm going to make exactly what I'm influenced by, and that's what Kill Bill is. So I'm not a big fan of that. And then our last question, this one I'm going to answer because I don't think you have the answer. What is a must-watch Tarantino for someone who has never seen one of his films?
I will answer this real quick.
Please.
Quickly, my thoughts on this. And this isn't me being an asshole or a dickhead. This is just honestly my thoughts. Don't watch one, man. They're not... there's nothing that stands out. I feel exactly like watching those movies how I feel like watching The Godfather. Like, why did everyone try to pretend that this was so much better than it actually is?
It's one of the top 50
that being
greatest
said,
films.
Shane told me when I came home, or when he came to my house, and I told him to watch The Godfather, he goes, well, you have to understand that, when you would have watched it, those Goodfellas didn't exist, bro. Yep. Because I had just watched Goodfellas for the first time, right before I watched Godfather, and I remember telling you, it's like, man, Goodfellas is killing that movie. It's like, dude, Goodfellas wouldn't exist without Godfather, and it's like, right. Well, fuck, I wasn't even thought of yet, so it's hard for me to see it in that context. So I understand for people that seen it as it was happening that it's probably way different for them. But going back and look at it now, I mean, to me, almost every David Lynch film I ever have seen is better than anything Tarantino has made. Even
that I could agree with.
Even like Lost Highway. I would take
yeah.
any of those movies over Tarantino's movies all day long.
There's two,
and how many of those would you recommend for a regular dude to watch?
I wouldn't recommend Lynch, even though he's...
But that's my recommendation. Yeah. Go watch David Lynch. If you want to watch Tarantino... Go watch David Lynch.
I think Tarantino is top 50 greatest director. I think two of his films in particular are top 100 films, and he is a director that should be watched. I think you should go in order. I think you should start off with Reservoir Dogs, and that's definitely more of a palate taster. Mm-hmm. You get a little bit of his style, but it's non-linear, which you might hate. I love that. But it definitely has a plot. It has a main character, one person you can focus on. It's not like Pulp Fiction where it's just like, what am I watching? It's just a hodgepodge of everything. But then I'd go into Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, just go in order until you can't stand his stuff anymore like I can.
It honestly reminds me of just like last year, I went through and did all the Nolan stuff that I'd really never seen. And again, I was just like, really? Like Insomnia? People love Insomnia?
It's okay.
Like... Oh, okay. I mean, Memento's all right.
Yeah,
There's
but you're talking about a
cool
top
ideas
100
of it.
Greatest
sure.
director.
But I just remember thinking, like, I can't believe, like, when I looked back on Christopher Nolan's filmography, there was like 2 movies that I could legitimately be like, I really dug those movies. Like the
Inception,
the space. I hate
Interstellar.
that movie.
Oh, I love Inception.
Yeah,
that's
I
my
can't
favorite
stand that movie.
Nolan.
Yeah, Interstellar is the one that I enjoyed, but again. There's very few, and Nolan's like one of the greatest directors ever, if you ask most people, So yeah, to me, it just when it works, it works. When I went back and watched James Cameron's old stuff, every freaking movie I watched was phenomenal. From True Lies to the underwater one, the Abyss. Mm-hmm. Every one of the old movies that I watched from him, I loved and enjoyed. So again, I don't know what it is that when I put the steak in my mouth, it doesn't taste as good as peanut butter, Shane.
Well, I think you can kind of tell because, James Cameron.
He became that a bit.
Yes. It's more of that spectacle. It's audience driven rather than, artist driven.
Sure. So. I want my Abyss franchise. I want to meet the alien floating things. It's like a play planet of
Yeah, what have they been doing the last 30 years? Let's bring it back.
Right, for sure.
Reunion.
For sure. But yeah, that is true that he did become. I mean, if we're being completely honest, there is no bigger event film director.
He's
than
the original
James
Michael
Cameron,
Bay.
right?
He's the original Michael Bay.
He has two, billion-dollar movies, or almost $2 billion. Or it is two.
He invented the billion-dollar movie.
Right? He had a $2 billion movie in the 90s when, like I was just saying, was a terrible era of movies. He got $2 billion worth in the box office from a Titanic
the
movie.
90s
A movie that we all knew the plot
movies.
for, Shane. We knew how it began and ended.
And people cry.
Still got $2 billion out of that bad boy.
And the 90s were probably the last great era of movies because you had the Coen brothers, you had good Tarantino, you had good Kevin Smith, you had real directors. I mean, you're comparing these guys to Abrams and...
Yeah,
Gunn.
I don't know. Things have just evolved so much. And,
yeah, I guess so.
And I could see that. I guess the reason but I don't know. I still feel like there's some taste thing to it because Nolan kind of makes these big. I mean, Inception was
They're very big.
Yeah, right. And so is Interstellar. They're kind of event type of films. But the last one he did was definitely that.
Yeah. The problem is he gets too cerebral. And it's just like he goes in saying, I'm smarter than my audience.
Yeah, and
so he insults the audience.
Yes, right. Yeah. And then when we're not getting it, no matter how smart we actually are, he's just like, well, you just don't get it because you're stupid. You just don't get it, And that kind of stuff is and in that last movie, I can't remember the name of it. I don't even want to remember the fucking name of it. But I couldn't stand that thing. And that
with the masks?
Yes. That whole thing felt like the whole thing was about how stupid I am and how much he's learned about reverse technology.
Yeah, called
Tenants, yeah. Oh, yeah. I will not be a tenant at another one of those films. I'll tell you
Nice.
that. That's for sure.
Nicely done.
But yeah, it is interesting to me as I go back and I do check out these people in a deep dive, how some of them that are these real big, great directors that I just can't really get on board with any of their movies the way I can. Even with Lynch. I love Lynch's films, dude.
It is really funny how the three big directors that attacked Marvel, you don't like them anyway. Because Scorsese.
Who was the third one?
Tarantino, and then Francis Ford Coppola, The Godfather.
Oh, God.
You're just slamming The Godfather.
Yeah,
so you're like, all three of you guys can go eat my
I guess that's
not how I feel.
I guess that's the theme of the show. You guys go eat a dick.
Except for Scorsese.
It's all about Marvel. It's Marvel, DC.
Oh, man.
Those are real movies, man.
Francis, you are a one-of-a-kind genius. Thank you so much. I appreciate and love you, too.
But yeah, like we said, that's just kind of what it's turned into. And as a film fan, I can't help it. You were saying that our audience is just dumb. Well, my counter to you on that, Shane, would be, hey, man, am I dumb?
Yes. You don't like Pulp Fiction. You don't like Pulp Fiction. That makes you dumb.
This will be the last day Shane's here. Everybody say bye to Shane. Bye-bye, Shane. We'll see you, buddy. No, that's my point. I'm not dumb by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoy what I enjoy, and I just can't help it. So I do agree that, you'll never get me not to agree that the mass majority of people are sheeple people, and as we know, they will follow each other right to the slaughter, So I understand that completely, but I'm just saying there's still a lot of people out there that are intelligent like me that are enjoying these things.
And I'm always the first one to say that, don't listen to me. I'm crazy. I like weird stuff.
Right, for sure. Like David Lynch.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. But yeah, guys, I think that's it, right? Mm-hmm. All right, sweet, guys. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us. Show went a little longer than we wanted it to, but we're here. We're doing it. That's what we do. I think I might do something tomorrow, Saturday afternoon maybe, by myself. So check that out tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for being here. Shane, I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you keeping me on. I mean, you have control of my camera and microphone, and he let me talk. So he's a really good host. I love being here, and I can't wait to be back next week.
For sure. Guys, definitely let me know down in the comment section below what you guys are thinking about all of this. stuff that's going on the show today. Let us know anything hype you have for upcoming stuff. We talked a little bit about the Tulsa King. We know Wakanda Forever is coming out. Lots of things. Definitely let us know down in the comment section below what's going on with you guys. With that being said, guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like button, thumbs up. I see 5 of you guys in here. There should be 5 thumbs ups on this video. And make sure you guys stick around for our weekday shows next week. And yeah, we will see you guys then. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Have a good one. Peace.